Hey everyone, intuitive astrologer Lisa Salvatore here to talk about the full moon in Virgo that occurs on March 18th, 3:18 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But before we get into the chart, let me just share a couple of things. First off, I've done a couple of videos that you may want to pull up. One is how to pull up your own birth chart so you can see, if you don't already know, where your moon sign is, where your moon falls, because it's more than likely different than your sun sign. Unless you were born during a new moon, but that's a whole nother topic. So you can pull up your own chart for free if you don't already know which sign your moon is in, and then you can also look to see where this full moon will take place for you. So again, I've linked this video down below. It's very quick on how to pull up your own chart so that you can find your placements and where this full moon will be taking place. In other words, which area of your life, of your chart, where will it illuminate, and where would this be a place where you may want to release something, even if it's just a habit or a behavior. Okay, so that's one. Two, I have a detailed video on the Mars-Venus alignment that we've been talking so much about, and Venus and Mars, as I'm recording this video today, they are about to move into Aquarius early morning, March 6th, which is tomorrow. So Venus and Mars they're still dancing together. They have been since early February, and this is very significant for our connections and for what we value and our future projects and endeavors. So anyway, you may want to check that video out. I go into detail by sign also about where this conjunction has been taking place for you in both February and March, while Venus and Mars were in Capricorn and now together in Aquarius. So again, check that video out. It is also linked below. Okay, now, full moons, in and of themselves, this is the point of the lunar cycle. It's the release phase. It's the culmination of the moon cycle. And it's the point where we release, where everything comes up, everything surges, and then it's a culmination, and then we do a release, and then we can start fresh again and start new, just like the moon. The next 8 phases of the moon begin after this full moon. So, the full moon's in Virgo, which means it's opposite the sun. The sun is in Pisces, and this is what happens when we have a full moon. Now, while everyone feels full moon energy, the signs, or the placements rather, that will feel this particular full moon in Virgo the strongest are going to be anyone with between 24 and 29 degrees of mutable energy, meaning any of your points or placements between 24 and 29 degrees of Pisces, Virgo, Gemini, or Sagittarius. Also, if you have anything at 0 to 2 degrees of the cardinal energy, which would be Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn. So if you have any points or placements there, you're likely going to feel this full moon energy the strongest. But again, remember, we all feel it, and we all feel it in relation to the axis that this energy is, which right now is Pisces and Virgo, Sun in Pisces, Moon in Virgo. Now, the Virgo-Pisces axis is all about healing. It's all about our health. Virgo is all about the physical health, and Pisces is all about the spiritual health. So there's this oppositional energy that takes place, a tug of war almost, between the emotional and physical healing versus our spiritual healing. Now, Virgo is the sign that's very concerned with schedules and order and routine and cleanliness. There's a big cleansing energy that takes place with Virgo. Now, a Virgo full moon may have us feeling like we want to clean out our drawers, clean out our closet, clean out our cupboards, clean out everything, because again, it's a very cleansing energy, and we know that when we do any type of cleanup, we do feel like we heal in a certain respect. Something feels really good about that. It's very cathartic on every single level. Now, Pisces is the spiritual healing. This is, we are one. Both Pisces and Virgo speak to healing and service. So it's, how can I help you? How can I serve you? We feel very compassionate under this energy, and we're looking at ways in which we can be even more so, typically when we're dealing with the Virgo and Pisces axis. So a big emphasis on healing, on spirituality, on cleaning things up, and on schedules and on details. So let's get to the chart. So here is the chart for the full moon in Virgo, March 18th, 2022. I have it set for 3:18 a.m. Eastern Time. And you see right up here that moon at 27 degrees and 40 minutes of Virgo, opposite the sun here at 27 degrees and 40 minutes of Pisces. Now, couple of things going on here. First, let's just talk about the Pisces energy. So we've got Jupiter over here at 18 Pisces in an operational conjunction, getting closer and closer to Neptune in Pisces at 23. Now, This is big energy, and we can already see how some of it's been playing out. I did do a video about Jupiter's entrance into Pisces, and I recorded this back in December. I've also linked that one below if you want to go back and listen to that. But Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces have not, first of all, Jupiter meets up with Neptune every 12 and a half years. So that's not really that big of a deal, but Jupiter and Neptune in Pisces has not occurred since the 1850s, okay? So this is a big energy, and it's a big water energy because we're dealing with Pisces. And so, you know, in the highest vibration, Pisces is all about spirituality, compassion, kindness. How can I help you? How can I heal you? How can I be of service? That's this energy. But on the lower end of this Pisces energy, you know, we could be dealing with smoke and mirrors. We could be dealing with, you know, living in la la land, sticking our head in the sand when we really need to be up and looking at everything through clear vision and not rose-colored glasses, which can be the lower vibration of Pisces energy. And also escapism follows up with that. And I'm bringing this up because another big energy with Jupiter and Neptune getting closer and closer in Pisces, we've seen a lot of flooding that has been taking place. Poor Australia, there's been serious flooding this past week. I don't know if you've caught it because I don't believe it's on the news, but there's a big problem that's been going on in Australia with these floods. And I can't help but think Jupiter and Neptune. I mean, Jupiter expands everything, it surges, and Neptune is in, you know, it's water. Jupiter is the king of the gods, and Pisces and Neptune is the god of the seas. So there's this, and they're in Pisces. So there's this big, expansive, watery energy. Again, high vibration that could be really great for healing and spirituality and coming together and being empathetic and compassionate to our fellow man. But on the lower vibration of that energy, you know, it could be things like flooding. It could be things like water damage. It can be over emotional outbursts. It could be seeing things for what we want them to be versus how they truly are. So again, big energy. I'll do another separate video on that Jupiter-Neptune conjunction, but if you want to go back and listen to what I already did on Jupiter and Pisces, you can, that's also linked below. But anyway, so on the positive side, Jupiter and Neptune coming closer and closer together. They're very present with this full moon in Virgo. This adds to the cleansing. You actually may literally want to add more healthy, wholesome foods to your diet at this time, and also a lot of clean, fresh water. That's, you know, literal drinking water. That's another piece to this energy. This is a great energy for creative projects, writing projects, artistry, anything like that, music, all really, really nice under this time. Mercury over here at 13 Pisces is also conjunct Jupiter here at 18 Pisces. So again, really good for creative energy and really big for the dream space, which we've been talking about. So definitely pay extra close attention to your dreams. And if you don't keep a dream journal, you should probably start to do so, because a lot of insight, a lot of psychic information can be coming through to you in the dream space. Your higher self is trying to connect to you, the divine to connect. So great energy for that. Mercury here at 13, I also have to mention, is almost in an exact sextile to Uranus. Now again, Mercury is the lower mind, Uranus is the higher mind. And so when these two connect, especially by a smooth aspect such as a sextile, this can bring in abundance, positivity, possibility, great ideas, and a lot of psychic insight. These two together, it's like a meeting of the psychic minds, especially by a helpful, supportive, flowing aspect such as a sextile. So again, so far this is feeling kind of nice, right? Super spiritual, super tapped in, super supportive. Also super sensitive, for better or worse. But again, I have to emphasize dreams. Super important now, everyone. Super important. Now, probably my favorite piece to this full moon energy is the grand Earth trine that we've got going on here. See Pluto here at 28 of Capricorn. And then we've got the North Node over here at 23 of Taurus. And then we've got this moon up here at 27 Virgo. That's a grand Earth trine. And that can be super supportive, super helpful, and super grounding in helping us visualize and set our intentions for the future. And also getting very clear on what we need to cleanse and what we need to release to help us to move forward. And it's very practical because of this Earth energy. So yeah, there's a lot here that's encouraging the intuitive realms, but there's also this sense of practicality attached to it, which is really nice and bodes very well for the future. And as always, I have to give you the less than stellar aspects here, and there's a few. So let's talk about Mars and Venus over here in Aquarius. Okay, they're in a square, almost an exact square to Uranus in Taurus, okay? So Venus and Mars are squaring off with Uranus. This is a volcanic energy. This is an eruptive, explosive kind of an energy. And, when it comes to the realm of relationships, could be very unsettling, can be very disturbing. Also, because tomorrow, not tomorrow, not when I'm recording this, but on the 19th, the day that follows this full moon energy, Venus will be in an exact square to Uranus. And then just a couple of days after, I think on the 22nd, I believe Mars will then hit Uranus by an exact square. And this brings in an intensity, a heat, a fire, a fever. Honestly, I can't help but think weather when I see this here, and hopefully not, but let's pray that out. But you can't help but think with Uranus, it's, earthquakes, volcanoes, a shakeup. Let's hope that that's not the case. Like I said, we've already seen some flooding going on with Jupiter, Neptune, and Uranus now in the mix. Let's hope that that's not the case. But again, it could very well be. There's definitely a tension that's produced with this aspect, for sure. It's a square. So, hopefully it won't be too severe. But anyway, it's here, so I have to mention it. And then Ceres over here at 8 degrees of Gemini. And by the way, Ceres is the goddess of agriculture. She's the asteroid that rules over agriculture, crops, and grains, okay? So she's now in Gemini, and we know Gemini is the sign that rules over communication and information, right? Now, the reason I mention this is because Ceres is over here at 8 degrees of Gemini in a square aspect. Again, that's tension and friction, a square aspect to Mercury in Pisces. Now, the interesting thing about this is that Mercury rules Gemini, okay? So Ceres is in Gemini, which is the sign of communication, and Mercury, which rules Gemini, is in the sign of Pisces, but this is a square aspect. So, we may be hearing more communications around food shortages, okay, literally, because perhaps due to weather, perhaps due to just not having the availability of truckers, as we know with all of that's been going on, but there could be literal short blockages, which then could lead to shortages. So, we've talked about this before with Uranus and Taurus, it's a great time to get more acquainted with local farmers, also growing more of your own food, using more of our own natural resources to help us, okay? So again, just mentioning it because I can't not mention it. It did jump out to me that Ceres is here squaring Mercury. Could just be some communication, doesn't mean it has to be literal, but I have been hearing from people all over the world that depending on where you are, there are a lot of shelves being emptied. There's things that you cannot find. So it's just a little something that's here that I'm bringing up. And again, none of this is for fear-mongering, and none of this means that it's facts. I'm just letting you know the energies that are at work here around this full moon. Because, again, full moons bring everything up, so we can see this increase and amplify. And, of course, Eris is still very much in a square to Pluto. It's still very much in effect. Eris at 24 Aries, squaring Pluto at 28 Capricorn, which, again, is all about the people protesting and defending and standing up for themselves. And so we might be seeing more of that under this energy. Likely we will be. But overall, I do feel like this is a healing and cleansing full moon where we can really utilize our intuitive faculties, drop inward, do your meditations, really connect, because you're likely going to receive a lot of information psychically under this full moon energy. So make sure you set some intentions and you do a nice release for yourself. It's a good time to do a literal cleanse. If you want to do a cleanse, just do a day of fasting or water or a watermelon cleanse. Those are always really good around full moons. So do as you see fit. Let's get a card for this full moon energy. And by the way, I'm not using tarot. I'm actually using a deck called Postcards from Spirit. So just feeling connected to this deck the last few weeks. And I just love the messages in here. There's quite a bunch. I think there's like 70 cards in this deck. And the messages vary and they're very special and beautiful. So I wanted to use this instead today, okay? So here's the message. Over here, there is no mystery for us to unravel, as we know intimately how connected we all are. how the web of creation works, and how spirit is in every aspect of life, from the invisible to the visible. But it's impossible for humans to comprehend the complexities of how things actually work, because the most important threads in the tapestry don't make sense in the dimension you live in. That said, can you feel the importance of these currents of energy that bring events together in miraculous ways? You can't understand with your mind, but you can know with your heart and soul. Trust that even though you don't know the how, the what, or the why, we do. Surrender to the mystery and have faith that the unseen world is watching you with loving eyes as spirit weaves your life's mysterious and beautiful tapestry in glorious technicolor. Wow, that was very powerful for this Pisces Virgo axis. Speaks to surrender, which is Pisces. It speaks to healing. It speaks to trusting in the divine and having faith in what we cannot see, no matter what you believe. Whether you believe in God or just a higher power, whatever it is, just feeling and knowing on a very deep level that there is something greater that connects all of us beyond anything that's evil and going on right now. We can and we will overcome this. And this is a very strong message for that. And I think it's important to keep sight of that, because it's really easy to spin out these days. And that's why I always say, turn off the TV, turn off the news. Try to, if you are going to watch TV, watch something lighthearted, watch something funny, put on a comedy. You know, my thing is the Golden Girls. I love the Golden Girls. I think I know every single episode because since I was a little girl, I've loved that show. And it just makes me laugh so hard, and it makes me forget about everything else that's going on. So find your Golden Girls, find your show, find something that makes you laugh, takes you out of that space of dread and fear, because it's so easy to go into that space these days. And we need to try harder to go out of that space. So again, turning off the TV, turning off the news, that is whatever's going on outside of us right now. It is what it is. And we just have to have faith and in the unseen right now. That's what we can really do. So take really good care of yourselves, and I will be back soon with another video. Bye guys.